He gave my poor daughter a tear, so we are busy with treating her. So go away, go. Taehyung's eyes got moist hearing his child's grandma using such cruel words about him. Still, he suppressed himself from snapping at her, thinking her daughter must have went to difficult labor, that's why she's being harsh. Why, she's okay, right? You, out of all people, don't need to think about her because her mom and dad is alive to think about her well-being. On top of that, now her lover is with her too. So, take your good-for-nothing son and leave from my daughter's life so she can finally have peace and enjoy her life with her lover. Present time. It was your mother who gave Taehyung in my hands, stating you don't want to do anything with my son. You are disgusted to see him, you are disgusted to touch him. Ryan looked at him blankly. His words were not making any sense to her. You were lying, right? Lie. Do you think I am playing some games here? Do you think I am here doing some sort of drama? Clearly offended by her statement, he glared at her. But his eyes soon became tensed when he saw her clutching the sofa arm with her one hand and with other she clasped her head. Today afternoon's incident when she became unconscious flashed in his mind. Fearing she was again feeling unwell, he went near her and knelt down in front of her. Hey, are you feeling unwell? Taehyung, you were telling me my mom was the one who gave Taehyung to you. You were telling me she was the one who used some nasty words against Taehyung. But she was the one who stayed with me throughout my hospital visits. She was the one who stayed beside me when doctors handed me over a stillborn baby, stating that's my son there. She was the one in whose embrace I had shed my painful tears. She was the one who helped me after I was destroying every possible thing in the hospital room. After the doctors gave me that horrible news. After I saw her breathing was high, her lips were trembling, drops of tears were flowing from her eyes. Anyone could understood that time she was reliving the memories she tried to bury long ago. Honestly, that moment Taehyung didn't know what he should do because his own mind was filled with too many unwanted questions. One part of him felt he shouldn't entertain her actions anymore, but another part of him felt whatever she was feeling that time, it was result of her side of truth, a truth which was different than his. He felt truly there was a big misunderstanding between them, and the person who caused it was none other than her mother. He placed his palm over hers and gently held her hand. I am truly not lying, Vine. Your mother was the one who gave away Taehyung. Vine looked at Taehyung's eyes, which screamed nothing but sincerity. She nodded her head once and said, Taehyung was always with you, even after you told me via call that you don't want to do anything with me or my child. So, how else you are gonna have Taehyung if not someone closer to me gave him away? If the doctors wanted to sell Taehyung, then why gave him to his own father? Taehyung looked at the woman in front of him. She was so vulnerable that he for seconds got afraid that his voice might break her remaining strength. My mom, oh God, Taehyung, we are believing lies. We are living fabricated truth all these years. What happened 4 years ago? What happened 5 years ago? I don't know why, nothing seemed to make sense now. You were telling I called you saying I don't want to do anything with you or our child when I didn't do any such thing. You were telling me you never called me saying you did not want to continue pregnancy. How can this happen, Vagan, when I clearly heard your voice, when it was your number from which I received the call? Plus the pictures of me with another woman you were talking about. The pictures of you with another man I am talking about. How come that happened when both of us claiming that we never had sent each other any such thing? There was a brief moment of silence between them. Then Vagan stand up and creating a line of confusion on Taehyung's forehead. Let's go, Taehyung. Where, Vagan? He asked while standing up. To my parents' house, Taehyung, to ask my mother questions which answer only she knows. Let's go. At this hour, Vagan, it's late 11 p.m. Yes, at this hour. Do you know how it feels knowing the pain I was feeling from the past 4 to 5 years? It was intentionally caused by your own mother? My skin is crawling, Taehyung. Maybe I won't be able to breathe properly till tomorrow morning. Maybe thinking all this whole night. I will have anxiety attack again. So it's important to go now, to question her now. I understand why I am feeling the same emotions you are feeling, if not much different. But right now, if I left with you, then Taehyung would be alone. Guards won't be able to handle him if he wake up again by any chance. He would become frightened. Realization hit Vagan. In all her mess, she can't leave Taehyung alone. I forgot about Taehyung. She ran her palms through her face and left out a heavy sigh, tears again brimming in her eyes. Maybe that's why Almighty let Taehyung go away from me. Maybe he knew I would forget about him. Taehyung seemed to understand what thoughts crossed her mind that time by looking at her expression. It's not even been a day, Vagan, that you came to know. That you have a son, Vagan. It will take some time for you to remember this. Whenever you would need to take decisions, one cannot become a mother overnight. Heck, it took me a lot of hassles too to become Taehyung's father. Still, I am nowhere close to being a perfect father. But I am trying. Maybe you would need to try a lifetime, he gently told her. Vine surely didn't expect him to say those words to her, but she was grateful to him for saying those words. I can try to call Jimin now. If he can come here now, then we can leave for your house now. With hopeful eyes, Vine nodded her head. Taehyung took out his phone and called Jimin. With a third ring, he picked it up. What happened, Tae? Taehyung could hear Jimin's sleepy voice. Can you come to my place to watch over Taehyung? Now, at this hour. Why? Then Taehyung walked a little away from Vayan and narrated everything to Jimin. After listening to everything, Jimin immediately agreed to come to his house. It took few minutes for Jimin to come. Then Taehyung and Wayne headed towards her parents' house. Clock that time read 11:45 p.m. At Wayne's parents' house. Mrs. Lee was pacing restlessly in the living room. She was again and again looking at the wall clock. Occasionally, she was calling on her daughter's phone, which now was saying switched off. Her husband was watching her while sitting on the sofa. Don't worry this much, honey. She must be busy at office. She's a grown woman. She knows how to take care of herself. She will come home in no time. You are not understanding. She immediately went out after coming here from office. She was so restless. She didn't even glanced at me. I kept calling her name, but she just ignored me and went. How can she ignore me? She even took some documents from her cupboard. Her phone's GPS was showing her last location was. Her words got cut off when she heard the doorbell was ringing furiously. See, your daughter is here, I guess. Saying that, he went to open the door but got shocked seeing Taehyung with Wayne. Taehyung, you here? Wayne didn't answer her father's question. She directly went towards her mother. Taehyung too followed her. Why your phone is off, Fiore? I am going to ask something. Answer honestly. Why did you give away my son to Taehyung? Why you made me believe that I gave birth to a stillborn? Who told you this, Fiore? Then her eyes darted towards Taehyung. Pure disgust spread through her face. He's filling your ears, right? This is the reason I told you to not work with this man. He once gave you pain, then again. I don't want to hear any other thing, Mom. I'm begging you. Please answer why you did that. What are you saying, Wayne? Why would your mom? Because my son is alive, Dad. For the past 4 years, he is living with his father. He is living without his mother, me. Her father was first stunned, but then rage too quickly took over him. Then he marched towards Taehyung and taking him off guard, he grabbed his collar. How dare you, bastard! Took my daughter's child away from her? How dare you fabricate? Don't ask this question to me, Mr. Lee. Ask this question to your wife. After all, she was the one who was all set to give my child to an orphanage. If I didn't reach hospital on time that day, Wayne's leave it day. He said while freeing his collar from Wayne's father's grip. Wayne, don't listen to this jerk's words. I didn't do anything. He's the one who gave money to the doctor to do all this. How can you lie, Mrs. Lee? Ain't you the one who said Wayne doesn't want to see me or my son? She's happy with her lover. Plus, how come I bribed the doctor when I never saw her? What proof do you have, huh? You bastard, you were trying to manipulate my daughter again, but this time I won't let you do this. What would he get by doing this, Mom? Even if I assume he bribed the doctor to get Taehyung all by himself, then why now he's accepting Taehyung as my son too? Won't he fear that I would take Taehyung's half custody from him? Ain't he afraid that I can send him jail for taking away my son from me? Because he simply wants to destroy your mental health again. He wants to take away from me. Ryan, why can't you understand this? He always does this. He takes you away from me. Don't you remember how he always used to come with you whenever you visited me? He always used to distract you from me. He Is this why you took away her son from her? Because you knew she would be spending her time with her child from now on? Obviously, I couldn't let that peace take away my daughter from me. She stopped her words midway. Why wouldn't she? After all, she just blabbered out the truth she was hiding from the past 4 years. Mom. Mr. Lee's eyes widened, whereas Taehyung felt relief hearing Mrs. Lee saying she did take away Taehyung from Ryan. How could you do this, Mom? Which mother gave pain to her own daughter like this? Didn't you feel pity seeing me wrecked, devastated, mentally unstable after I got the news that my child is no more? It was never my intention to hurt you, baby. It was this jerk's fault. Who told him to impregnate you? Who told him to make you go through painful pregnancy? Wai looked at her in disbelief. What was her mother saying? Taehyung was her husband that time. If she wouldn't bear his child, then whose? Fury, listen. She tried to hold Wai's hand, but she jerked her hand away. Don't touch me, Mrs. Lee. Sheer heart spread through Mrs. Lee's face hearing her daughter talk to her like that way. Ryan, how can you talk to me like that? Then she looked towards Taehyung and with hatred in her voice, she said, This is all because of you, bastard. You are again manipulating my daughter against me. Do you know how much work I had to do just so she would divorce you? I had to hire voice artists to call you as her, to call her as you. I had to hire stuntmen to pose as you, to as her. Had to hire good editors to edit those pics, bribe the doctor, so many works. But see, you came again with your good-for-nothing son and again manipulated her to take your side. Why are you hell-bent on taking her away from me? Why don't you find other women, huh? A loud gasp left Mr. Lee's mouth, whereas Ryan stood there frozen. What? You intentionally caused Ryan's divorce? I shouldn't have brought you here again, Ryan. We were happy abroad, away from these bastards. You know what? Let's go there again. Only you and me, away from any headache. Ryan just looked at the woman in front of her, the woman who gave birth to her, the woman who's her mother. But instead of love and respect, she felt sheer hatred and rage seeing her face. She felt as if breathing the same air as her mother was suffocating her. So, startled, she turned away and went towards her room. Mrs. Lee followed her while calling her name. Mr. Lee too went behind them. Taehyung stood there frozen for a while because the revelations were too much for him to take. Something was terribly wrong with his ex-mother-in-law, and noticeable thing was, all of her family members failed to notice it earlier, including Taehyung. He then went towards Ryan's room, from where he could hear Ryan's mother's loud voice. Why are you taking it out, Ryan? Ryan didn't answer her. Heck, she didn't even look at her mother and continued to take out her important files and some clothes. She put everything in her suitcase while her mother continued to call her and tell her to stop packing her stuff. Taehyung looked at the raging woman in front of him. He observed every words and actions of the said woman. He looked at his ex-wife's mother, a mother who seemed to be obsessed with her daughter. She seems so much obsessed with her daughter that one might name her feelings towards her daughter as emotional, and no one would object it. He shivered thinking about it. How come he failed to notice Mrs. Lee's obsessive behavior towards Ryan? How come he failed to notice Mrs. Lee was involved in her daughter's life more than she should have? Ryan came downstairs with her suitcase. Will you let me stay tonight with you, Taehyung? Please? Taehyung nodded his head as he felt that time he shouldn't question her anything. You would regret choosing him over me, Ryan. Both Ryan and Taehyung didn't pay attention to her words anymore and started to head outside. Are you even in your sense, Ryan Swan? What are you blabbering? You were choosing that bastard, that piece of over me, your mother, right? I will make sure you regret this decision of yours, Ryan. I will make sure you come back to me. Mark my words. Mark my words.